Hello, and welcome to the Compile Your English podcast, the place where you can improve your English while exploring tech topics. I'm Jake.
And I'm Sarah. If you're a developer learning English or an English learner interested in the tech world, you're in the right place.
So, let's get started and compile your English, one episode at a time.
I'm so excited for today's episode. We've got something every developer can relate to. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the game for years. Coding mistakes. We all make them, right?
Oh, 100%. And I'm sure you've made your fair share, just like me. I've spent way too much time debugging only to realize I missed a semicolon or messed up the syntax. But today, we're talking about some of the bigger mistakes, the habits that can really slow you down or even break your code entirely.
But before we jump in, let's talk about some important vocabulary you'll need to understand the topic better.
That's right. We'll break things down and explain some of the key words and phrases that will pop up during our conversation today. You can also find all the vocabulary from this episode, along with example sentences and exercises to practice, in the PDF worksheet, which you can download by clicking the link in the description below. Let's get started, shall we?
All right, let's look at some useful words and phrases here. First up, we've got the phrasal verb think through. It means to carefully consider something before making a decision.
Before adding a new feature, we need to think through how it will affect the existing system.
Exactly. Then we've got the word blueprint. A blueprint is like a plan or a map. It's something you look at to guide you. The team created a blueprint for the new app before starting development.
The next one is the phrasal verb break something down. It means to divide something into smaller parts to make it easier to understand or manage. Let's break the project down into smaller tasks so we can complete it step by step.
Then we've got the adjectives vague and descriptive. When something is vague, it is not clear or detailed. The project requirements were too vague, so we had to ask the client for more details.
And when something is descriptive, it gives a lot of details or explains something clearly. The error messages in the app are more descriptive now, so users can easily understand what went wrong.
All right, let's kick things off with the first big mistake, not understanding the problem before you start coding. It can be super tempting to just start writing code as soon as you see a problem, but it's so much better to really take the time to think through what you need to do.
Exactly. Think of it like trying to build a house without a blueprint. If you don't have a clear plan in your mind, you might end up building something that doesn't even work. So, before you write any code, take a moment to understand the problem. Break it down into smaller pieces and ask yourself, what am I trying to solve here?
Yeah, sometimes we just rush into it, but slowing down at the beginning actually saves time later. Now, let's talk about something else, variable names. A lot of developers make the mistake of using vague names like X or temp, but this doesn't really help anyone, does it?
Not at all. I've looked at code with variables named things like foo and bar, and honestly, I had no idea what those variables represented. Descriptive variable names like user age or cart total make the code clearer for you and anyone else who might work with it. Trust me, future you will thank you.
Great. Now, before talking about other common mistakes, let's look at some more useful vocabulary. A very useful verb, to handle. It means to deal with, manage, or take care of something. We need to handle errors properly so the app doesn't stop working when something goes wrong.
The next one is to predict, to say or estimate what will happen in the future based on information or experience. We can predict how the system will perform under heavy load with stress testing.
One more important adjective is complicated. When something is complicated, it is hard to understand or deal with because it has many parts. The code is complicated, so it's hard to find the mistake.
Another word to know is solution. It is a way to solve a problem or fix an issue. The team worked together to find a solution to the error.
And the last, but not least, in this part of our episode, is the verb to maintain. It means to keep something in good condition or working properly over time. We need to maintain the software by fixing bugs and updating it regularly.
Great. Let's get back to our coding mistakes. So, the next one is not handling errors properly. Picture this. Your program crashes, and the user sees an ugly error message that doesn't explain anything. That's a nightmare, right? It's like when you're driving and your car breaks down, but the dashboard just says error. How are you supposed to fix it?
Think ahead. Instead of leaving your users in the dark, try to predict what could go wrong and handle it. Error messages should explain what went wrong and how to fix it. This makes the experience much better for the user. Moving on to the next point, writing too much code. Look, I get it. You want your code to be perfect, but that doesn't mean it has to be super complicated. Sometimes, less is more. Right, Jake?
I agree with you. There's even this thing called KISS in programming. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't over-engineer your solution. If you can solve a problem in 10 lines of code, don't write 50 just to make it look fancy.
Definitely. Simple code is easier to maintain, and it's easier for others to understand.
Now, let's move on to the final part. Here are a few more words to learn, so let's explain them. An idiom, call it a day, means to stop working on something, usually because you have done enough for the day. We fixed most of the bugs, so let's call it a day and continue tomorrow.
One more adjective, unexpected. Something that happens suddenly or in a way you did not expect. We need to handle unexpected user input to prevent bugs.
2 more verbs for you to learn. To skip and to prepare. To skip means to leave out or not do something. Don't skip testing or you might miss important bugs. To prepare means to make something ready. Let's prepare a backup plan in case the system crashes.
One more useful piece of vocabulary is to be stuck. It means to be unable to move forward or find a solution. The code isn't working, and I'm stuck trying to figure out why.
All right, let's move on to our next mistake. Not testing your code properly. Testing is key, my friends.
This one drives me crazy. I see developers who write a function, run it once, and then call it a day. But what if there's some edge case they missed? Or what if the user inputs something unexpected? Testing your code across different scenarios is crucial.
Yeah, so true. Just because your code works on your computer doesn't mean it will work on someone else's, or when the input is a little different. A lot of developers skip this step, and that's where bugs hide. So get into the habit of writing tests and test early, test often. If you find bugs early, they're easier to fix.
Speaking of other bad habits, there's another one that's pretty common. Copy-pasting code without understanding it.
Oh boy, this one's a real trap. I get it. Sometimes you find a perfect solution on Stack Overflow, and it looks like it's exactly what you need. But do you understand how it works? If you don't, you're basically preparing yourself for failure. When something goes wrong, and it will, you won't have a clue how to fix it.
Right. It's all about understanding the code you're using. If you copy something blindly, you might miss out on potential bugs or issues. Better to write your own solution, even if it takes a bit longer, so you can fully grasp what's happening.
Okay, we're almost done, but here's a final mistake I want to mention. Not asking for help when you're stuck. Sometimes developers think that asking for help means they're not smart enough, or they're not good enough. But that's not true at all. We all need help from time to time.
Asking for help shows that you're learning and growing. Don't be afraid to reach out to a colleague, a friend, or even ask a question online. There's no shame in that.
So, to wrap it up, remember, take the time to understand the problem before you start coding. Use clear variable names. Handle errors properly. Don't overcomplicate your solutions. Test your code. Avoid copy-pasting without understanding, and don't be afraid to ask for help. These are the small things that will make you a better developer in the long run.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode on the most common coding mistakes.
And don't forget to download a free worksheet to practice the new vocabulary.
Thanks again for listening. We hope our podcast helps you on your journey to improving your English. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like and subscribe button. See you next time.
Keep coding and keep learning English. Bye for now.